Hi everyone, a very good morning, good evening to all of you. So, in today's session, we are going to have a discussion on modifiers and parallelism, right? So, today's topic is about modifiers and parallelism. Let's get started and let's see what do we have in modifiers and parallelism. What are modifiers and what are parallelism? Okay. So first of all, let me introduce you to the topic. So modifiers and parallelism is one of the topics of English grammar which is not happily welcomed by the students. Let me tell you that, because of its complexities mostly and mainly the modifiers. But it holds an important place in sentence correction questions when it comes to CAT exams. This topic is CAT exam topic only because this topic usually comes in management exams. So the rules will help you understand the nitty-gritty of the placement of modifiers, and also the rules of parallelism help in making several items in a test to put them in a column to see if they are parallel or not. Okay. So let's see what are modifiers and parallelism first. Okay. Let's discuss modifiers first. So a modifier is a word or a phrase that applies to the adjective, adverb or preposition in a sentence, or preposition in a sentence. Thus, modifiers help in conveying the meaning and are attributes of noun, pronoun or adverbs. How many types of modifiers do we have? There are three types of modifiers: misplaced, dangling, squinting. Now, what are misplaced modifiers? So, it is a single word, phrase or clause that does not point clearly to the word or words it modifies. Misplaced modifiers are wrong because they say something that writer did not intend to say. So this is misplaced modifier. Now there are misplaced adverb qualifiers, misplaced prepositional phrases also. What is misplaced adverb qualifier? For example, the placement of an adverb changes the meaning of the sentence completely. For example, John nearly ate the whole chocolate. John ate nearly the whole chocolate. See, there's a difference between saying nearly ate the whole chocolate. John ate nearly the whole chocolate. So right and wrong. The wrong one is wrong and the right one is right. So the idea here is, in the first case, it seemed as if John wanted to eat the whole chocolate, right? But for some reason he did. And in the second case, John ate almost the entire chocolate. The problem is with the placement of adverb nearly, which completely changes the meaning of the two sentences. So such sentences will be always known as misplaced adverb qualifiers. Misplaced prepositional phrase. The problem with prepositional phrases is that when they occur at the end of the sentences, the reader interprets in a different manner than the one intended by the writer. For example, he went to the conference where he gave the presentation in BMW. He went in a BMW to the conference where he gave the presentation. So, he went to the conference where he gave the presentation in BMW means different, and he went in a BMW means different. Let's understand. In the first case, it seemed if the presentation was given inside the BMW, which was quite obvious. But what the writer actually meant was that the person went in a BMW to the conference. The best way to monitor misplaced prepositional phrase is to always make sure that the prepositional phrase is directly attached to the verb that it should modify. So we have to pay attention to prepositional phrases at the end of the sentences. They are the ones most likely to be misplaced, right? Next, dangling modifier. What is a dangling modifier? It is usually a phrase whose subject and verb are implied rather than expressed. The phrase often functions as an adjective but doesn't modify any specific word in the sentence, or worse, modifies the wrong word. To correct a dangling modifier, we sometimes need to invent a subject also. For example, while going to sleep, the doorbell rang. While Rohan was going to sleep, the doorbell rang. While going to sleep seems like while is a person who is going to sleep, right? See, while is a person who is going to sleep, but what are we actually trying to say is someone is going to sleep and the doorbell rang. So who's that someone? So we have to introduce a subject here. While Rohan was going to sleep, the doorbell rang. Now squinting modifier. What is a squinting modifier? Let's understand this. Okay, what is squinting modifier? It is an ambiguous, misplaced placed modifier, usually an adverb, that can modify either the word before it or the word after it. In other words, it's squinting in both the directions at the same time. Place it next to the word that the modifier is actually meant to modify, and the error ambiguity will be removed. Like let's see the examples. Okay, he admitted to his parents recently that he had lied to them. So basically, he admitted his parents recently seems like his parents are admitted to some hospital. It sounded like that, right? But actually, we meant is what the sentence meant is recently he admitted to his parents that he had lied to them. So recently something like this happened which he lied to them. Now, next, he recently admitted to his parents and he had lied to them. He admitted to his parents that he had lied to them. This is again more appropriate way of bringing it, right? In case of squint modifiers, place the modifier in such a way that the sentence communicates the intended meaning. So you have to squint in that way. Okay, this is a squinting modifier. Now, what are split in infinitives? Inserting something between the and the verb, as in to go, is called a split infinitive. Generally, such interruption to quickly go rather than to go quickly are considered an error. So, however, it is not always an error. We may have to break the infinitive to place the modifier next to the verb for clarity and elegance in certain sentences. For example, the team was unable to discuss the case completely owing to the lack of evidence. Now, the better way of saying this is the team was unable to completely discuss the case owing to lack of evidence. Though one word interruption like the above are acceptable, long and unwarned interruptions are always an error. Okay. Next, resumptive modifier. A resumptive modifier picks up a word or a phrase from sentence that seems to be finished and adds information and takes the reader into a new territory of thought. Like, for example, since the 1930s, aircraft manufacturers have tried to build airplanes with frictionless wings, shaped so smoothly and perfectly that the air passing over them would not become turbulent. Now, see, since the 1930s, aircraft manufacturers have tried to build airplanes with frictionless wings so smooth and so perfectly shaped that the air passing over them would not become turbulent. This is like, see, full stop and just getting into the verb and then actually using the subject about which we are actually talking about and then continuing the sentence makes a difference. Okay, so this is a resumptive modifier. Again, I'll give you another example to this. In a crowded acquisitive world, the disappearance of lifestyles such as those once followed by southern Africa's bushmen and Australia's aborigines doomed, requiring vast wild spaces and permitting little accumulation of goods seems inevitable. Now, to make it better, can I just say that in a crowded acquisitive world, the disappearance of lifestyles such as those once followed by southern Africa's bushmen and Australia's aborigines, lifestyles requiring vast wild spaces and permitting little accumulation of goods since inevitably doomed. This is a much better way of using this statement, right? So these kind of sentences are usually resumptive modifiers, which gives you a new territory of thought. Now, what is parallelism? When a sentence has several ideas in it, the pattern of word used to express these ideas must have the same grammatical forms, that is noun, verbs, infinitives, gerund, adjectives, etc. The consistency in the structure is required to show that these ideas have the same level of importance in the sentence. Parallelism creates clarity, elegance and symmetry in sentence. You see how? I came, I saw, I conquered. A very famous quote said by Julius Caesar from the play Julius Caesar written by William Shakespeare, right? This is one of the famous ones. So this is parallelism. Where do we use parallelism and how do you use parallelism? A gerund is paired with a gerund. For example, Shreya loves swimming and dancing. This is parallelism. He likes officiating tennis more than playing it. Parallelism. An infinitive can also be paired. For example, Shreya loves to swim and to dance. He likes to officiate tennis, then he likes to play it. Infinitives 2 plus V1. Whereas, if the sentence is Shreya loves swimming and to dance, this again becomes an incorrect word. He likes to officiate tennis more than he likes playing it. Incorrect word. We cannot mix two verb forms. There has to be a parallel understanding of which one to use where. Okay. Above sentences, as here infinitive is paired with gerunds. Both are incorrect. Okay. An adjective cannot be made parallel to a noun phrase. For example, young princess was truculent and a bit of a rebel. Incorrect. Young princess was truculent and rebellious. This is a correct way of using adjective for a noun. A verb phrase cannot be made parallel to a noun phrase. For example, Lee would either campaign for the prime minister or the governor. No. Lee would campaign for either the prime minister or the governor. There has to be synchronization if you actually understand what we are trying to deliver here. Now, many times correlative ideas linked with the correlative conjunction, both and, either or, neither nor, and not only but also. Correlative conjunctions. Rohan is talented not only as a tennis player but also as a badminton player. A noun paired with a noun. Karan is talented not only at playing tennis but also at playing badminton. A gerund paired with a gerund. But if the sentence is Rohan is talented not only as a tennis player but also at playing badminton, this would be incorrect because we cannot pair a noun with a gerund, right? We will pair a gerund with a gerund, a noun with a noun. Now, while making comparisons, whatever you compare should be couched in parallel structures whenever that is possible and appropriate. For example, my bat is bigger than my friend. My bat is bigger than my friend. My bat is bigger than my friend. What is the difference here? Okay, I think we are missing out something. While making comparison, whatever you compare be couched in parallel structures, like my bat is bigger than my friend. So what does it mean? Is your friend is bigger than your bat? Is that what you are comparing here? Comparing your friend with a bat, actually doing that. Okay. Next, whenever we use string of 3 or more noun phrases and the third phrase doesn't follow the pattern of modification established by the first and second phrases, it is a case of faulty parallelism. Raj always brings his cell phone, his briefcase and iPhone to the office. Raj always brings his cell phone, his briefcase and his iPhone to the office. His cell phone, his briefcase and his iPhone, not only iPhone. Now some additional examples are: the Britishers conquered, colonized and governed much of the world. All the tenses are in past, you see. Conquered, colonized, governed. That coffee should not be served hot but at cold temperature. That coffee should not be served hot but cold. This is a way of writing an appropriate statement when there are two parallel things. Hina likes swimming, dancing and to ride a bicycle. No, it's incorrect. Hina likes swimming, dancing and riding a bicycle. This is how you will put things forward. Okay. The training center needs trainers who are ambitious, motivate themselves and exhibit dedication. Incorrect. The training center needs trainers who are ambitious, who are self-motivated and who are dedicated. The cat ran across the yard, jumped over the fence and down the alley it sprinted. The cat ran across the yard, jumped over the fence and sprinted down the alley. This is how you will put it. Her husband had found a job, bought a car and chose a school for the children before she arrived. Her husband had found a job, bought a car and chosen a school for the children before she arrived. Chose a school is giving improper information, not appropriate enough, right? Next, there are some points which you need to remember for modifiers. That modifiers are a way to correct a misplaced modifier is to move the modifying phrase next to the verb. It's a trick and a strategy. When modifier is dangling, either the modifier or the main sentence must be rewritten. Using adverbs like nearly, almost, just, only, we need to be aware that they are easily misplaced. Okay, we should pay attention to use the correct to use these adverbs at a correct place. Okay. Now in parallelism, what are the points to remember? That the elements that are made parallel by the coordinating conjunction can be nearly anything. It can be any word, any phrase or any clause. Similarly, the